Scientists discovered that kissing your partner after a fight does something remarkable. It does something remarkable to your body's developing brain. And what they found will completely change how you think about conflict. It will change how you think about conflict in front of your kids. Maybe it happened this morning. Something small, something stupid, made both of you angry. And your baby was right there. They saw the argument. They heard the raised voices. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a thought crept in, I just damaged my kid. I just showed them that love doesn't work. But then tonight, your partner came home. And without planning it, without even thinking about it, you two just came together. A hug. A kiss. Right there in front of your baby. Everything felt normal again. And now you're wondering, what did my baby's brain actually absorb today? Did they learn something harmful from the fight this morning? Or did that kiss tonight change everything? Will they remember the argument more than the reunion? That is exactly what we are talking about today. Here is what most parents believe: fighting in front of your kids damages them. The argument is the problem. So you should hide conflicts. You should wait until bedtime. You should never let your baby see anger between you and your partner. That is good parenting, or so most people think. But researchers discovered something completely different. It is not the fight that matters most. It is what happens after. The moment you kiss and move on, that is what teaches your baby something powerful about how healthy relationships actually survive conflict. Researchers at UC Davis conducted a large study. They tracked 87 babies from 8 months old all the way to age 3, using cameras to record exactly where the infants were looking during parental conflicts. The question seemed simple: does witnessing a fight traumatize a baby? The answer shocked the research team. These babies were not frozen in fear during the arguing. Their brains were most active during the reconnection moment, when the parents kissed, laughed together after being angry, or simply moved on. Every infant's eyes followed the reunion with intense focus. Their developing brains were recording a pattern: people fight, and then they come back together. That is how love works. Think about that for a moment. The argument was not the lesson. The repair was. Carnegie Mellon University took this research one step further. Instead of tracking eye movement, they measured what was happening inside the baby's bodies, specifically, heart rate variability, which reflects nervous system stress. During the parental conflict, the baby's heart rates rose. Their bodies registered genuine stress. But the moment the parents kissed and returned to normal behavior, each baby's nervous system relaxed, not gradually, but within seconds. Heart rate came down. Stress dissolved almost instantly. The critical finding came from comparing two groups. When parents kissed and reconnected, the baby's stress cleared in seconds. When parents stayed cold and avoided each other after a fight, the baby remained stressed for many more minutes. The kiss was not a romantic gesture. It was a biological signal to the infant's entire nervous system: the danger is over. We are okay. The family is whole. Researchers at Oxford University investigated the chemistry behind this effect. They measured oxytocin, the bonding hormone, in 52 babies whose parents had experienced a conflict. During the argument, oxytocin levels dropped sharply. The babies were in a state of stress and disconnection. When the parents kissed and acted as though the fight had never happened, oxytocin flooded back into the babies' bodies. One researcher described it this way: the kiss sends a message that the relationship is still safe, the connection is still intact, and the family is still whole. This is not sentiment. It is measurable chemistry happening in real time inside your baby's body. The most significant research came from the University of Minnesota. Scientists followed 94 children from infancy all the way to age 8, separating them into two groups. Group 1. Children who watch their parents fight and then kiss, reconnecting openly, moving on as though the conflict had resolved. Group 2. Children who watched their parents fight but never saw clear reconnection. Parents stayed tense. They avoided each other. The repair was hidden or never happened. The results were striking. Children in Group 1 grew up less anxious. They worried less about their parents' relationship. When they formed their own relationships as they got older, they naturally knew how to move past conflict, because they had watched it done hundreds of times. Fighting did not mean the relationship was broken. Kissing meant it was fixed. Children in Group 2 grew up carrying more anxiety. Many feared their parents would separate. In their own relationships, they struggled to move past arguments because no one had ever shown them that repair was simple, natural, and fast. Researchers called this a repair template, a program the baby's brain downloads about how relationships actually function. The program reads, fight, reconnect, move on. That is what love looks like. So what is your baby actually absorbing when they watch you kiss after a fight? Every day, an infant's brain is building maps of how the world works. When you argued this morning, your baby's brain recorded that information. Conflict exists, anger is real, disconnection happens. That is normal learning. Infants need to understand that conflict is part of life. But when you kiss tonight, your baby's brain received new information. It learned that conflict is not permanent. When two people reconnect, the anger disappears. When they act normally together again, the family is safe. Kissing became the signal for repair. Your baby is not waiting for a formal apology. They are not analyzing what was said in the argument. Their nervous system is simply sensing one thing. Are these two people connected again? The kiss answers that question immediately and completely. Now here is what is important to understand. If you and your partner fought and then spent the rest of the day avoiding each other, staying tense, moving through the house in silence, never visibly reconnecting, your baby absorbed that too. That silence teaches a different lesson entirely. When people fight, they stay disconnected. Anger does not resolve. Relationships break and remain broken. That is the opposite of the repair template you want to give your child. The kiss does not need to be performed or theatrical. Your baby's nervous system is not grading your technique. It is simply sensing whether the disconnection has ended. The kiss is the fastest, clearest way to show that it has. Decades from now, your baby will be in a relationship. And they will fight with someone they love. In that moment, everything they learned watching you will surface, not as a conscious memory, but as an instinct. Because you kissed after your arguments, they will know that fights do not mean the relationship is over. They will know that anger is temporary. They will reach toward their partner instead of withdrawing. They will not assume that conflict means collapse. They will repair quickly, naturally, without drama, because that is what they watched you do, hundreds of times, before they could even speak. That is not a small inheritance. That is everything. So the next time you fight with your partner, and your baby sees it, and then the two of you come back together and kiss like it never happened, remember what is actually occurring in that moment. Your baby's nervous system is calming down. Oxytocin is flooding back in. A repair template is being reinforced. And your child is learning, at the deepest biological level, that love survives conflict. That anger is temporary. That two people can disconnect and reconnect in seconds, and the bond stays whole. That kiss is teaching your baby the most important thing about love. Not from a book. Not from a lesson. From watching you. If this changed how you see those moments, drop a comment below and tell me. Share this with a parent who needs to hear it today. And if you want to understand the other side of this story, what happens when parents fight and never reconnect, and what that does to a child's developing brain over time, that video is next. The data will genuinely surprise you.